Hello, this is zwlemon coming back with the league semifinals for Division G. Now, right now, for this year, Divisions A through G have basically a quick playoff bracket where the top four scorers in every league are going to essentially face off in a mini tournament to see who will be the champion of each division. So, and how that's decided is based on win percentage of the league, in the league this year. So for me right now, I won my league with 83% of the wins. So that puts me right now currently at the number one seed in this tournament because I have the highest amount of win percentage out of anyone else in the Division G. But I'll be playing off against. Let's see if I can find him here. Micha1980, or I believe it's Mika, one of the two. I'll be facing off against Micha1980, who got a 71% win percentage for this year. So it'll be a pretty good match. So what's kind of exciting about this year, though, is that it's the first year that Divisions F and G are getting their own league championship. Usually it happens from Divisions A to E, there's a league champion, but now this year they're doing one for League G, which is pretty exciting. Yeah. So with all out of the way, the only last thing I'm going to say is this is probably going to be my last video where I post-record. Basically meaning where I talk after the match about, how the match went and stuff. Realistically, the reason is it's just way too much work for not that much benefit. So this is the last one I'm really going to do that with. So yeah, with all that being said, let's get right to the game. Alright, so we're going to get right into game one. So looking at this board, it's pretty interesting. So with draw, we don't have a ton of draw. Our main draw is really going to be a couple of things. It's going to come from Livery, and it's also going to come from possibly Mercenary. Those are the only real two ways to draw. With trashing, we have a ton of stuff here going on right now. We have Upgrade. We have Upgrade, which is always a good trasher. You have Alter, which is a great trasher. And you also have Mercenary here, which can also trash. And Island, which is sort of a pseudo trasher as well. So that's pretty good. We also have Caravan for draw as well. And Apothecary as well. So for plus buy, plus gains, the only thing we're going to have here is we're going to have University and we're going to have Blockade. So, and we have Alter for gains as well. So we don't have any plus buy, but we still have gain. So, and obviously for terminal action, we have University, or Village Port, we have University and Port. So looking at this board right off the bat, it's already going to be pretty obviously, to me, it's pretty obviously a University board, just a lot of stuff you'd like to get before. You have Caravan, you have Upgrade, you have Livery, you have Port. Just so much good stuff that it makes it pretty obviously a really good University board. So in the opening, the real question is, do I want to open Star Chart or do I want to get a Silver? Or Urchin. I should say that. The other option really is Urchin. Try to get the Mercenary as soon as possible. That's also going to be pretty good here. But realistically, I opt for the Urchin here. Probably my main goal here going for the Mercenary and the University, Obviously, they're going to pretty well come together pretty well. Also important to know the way of the Ox's Village here, too. So yeah. So University can do a couple of things this board. Can provide payload for or terminal payload a little bit. Like it could be, you can play a bunch of actions because you have ports and you have universities, so you probably will, as long as you get some ports, you'll probably be okay with like terminal space throughout the entire game. So it won't be a really huge deal realistically. Choosing what the top deck here. going for University, probably because you'd rather play that earlier than later. And this is a good hand for me right now. Pretty excellent, actually. Almost what you want. Well, it's exactly what you want. Now here I can look to get a couple of things. I think the most appealing thing to me looks like upgrade. Urchin. Maybe getting both the mercenaries could be okay too. Getting a second urchin for mercenary. But I think the most appealing thing looks like upgrade, being that it'll thin our deck pretty quickly, and it's just gonna allow us to see some more good cards more. So yeah. So upgrade feels like the obvious choice to me. Okay, so my opponent gets an upgrade too. So here I have 3, which is probably to be expected because last turn I had a great draw. This turn I have a not so great draw, but it's okay. Opting to get the second urchin with a 3 here, which makes a lot of sense to me personally. Yeah, also a really big fan of Star Chart just because I don't know about me, but I like it's a little pet peeve getting bad shuffles, can be super annoying. So I just really like the idea of just being able to top deck something. It's just super nice. And this is pretty good for me because urchin, draw urchin, get a mercenary. Like, I couldn't be happier right now. Deck's doing great, so yeah. Yeah, my opponent gets a second upgrade. Blockades caravans, I can see that. Caravan being a pretty critical card on this board. Pretty easy to get. But I do have my mercenaries, so that's still okay. Sorry, that's still going to be a huge advantage I have over my opponent. All right, so here I have 2 universities. So yeah, I'm gonna go for an upgrade just to do some ultra thinning. And yeah, now I'm also thinking of what I'm gonna do here. So I have a couple of options here. I realistically have 2. I have livery or I have port. Livery will be great for just getting a bunch of horses, especially combining with university. It's just going to be like great for draw. Port's also gonna be okay too, just because getting the extra terminal space will be pretty good. It's never a bad thing to have terminal space, and port just gives you a good, really a lot of it. So it's really just a good card in almost all situations, unless it's like a slog board. But yeah. So yeah, I'm probably deciding between livery and port at this moment, and I go with port. In retrospect, I think I would have done livery first. But port's not terrible. It could I guess especially with a mercenary deck, mercenary and livery can collide, so I can understand why I went with this decision. But yeah. So yeah, now my opponent's getting an urchin, so they're going to be trying to get a mercenary pretty soon too as well. And he has a caravan in play, so his draw is looking pretty good at the moment. So yeah, and then he gets a goal, which I heavily disagree with here. Yeah, and also I'm playing the upgrade here right now. The reason I did is I could have gotten guaranteed university gain had I kept it, but I decided to live life on the edge a little bit and just risk it, because if I had drawn like an estate or something, I could have gotten easy trash. But yeah, right now I'm doing something kind of risky. I am trashing my potion for for a livery here. I probably should have trashed the copper there. because universities could still be good on this board. But yeah. One of the things good about that is I won't be dragged down by the potion card, which kind of just turns out to be a stop card, which you have to have the right stuff in hand. So yeah, I don't entirely disagree with it. I think it's just a little risky. But yeah, I go for the ports there, and I get a caravan too. One, realistically, like my goal here now is kind of just to establish deck control. Really, just I want to be drawing my deck pretty soon. So yeah, my opponent's going pretty hard on the upgrades, and I can understand why. It's a very good card. So playing the urchins, we have to discard a card. But yeah, looking at this situation, probably we have 4, so we have a couple of good. We'll have 4 guaranteed at least. So we have a couple good options with 4. So we, and also probably it's iffy if you want the second mercenary here. Like it can be very good with port, you know, and you can trash mercenary with mercenary. But that's kind of what I'm thinking about right now. And I go for the second mercenary here. And I'm not really too upset about that. I have ports, so I have the terminal space to support that. And yeah, I'm really okay with this right now. With mercenaries and upgrades in my hand or my deck, I'm gonna start. I'm going to basically start thinning pretty quickly, you know. So I'm pretty happy here. Yeah, a couple options here. Realistically, I have livery, upgrade, and I'm also eyeing caravan because that's also going to be something that piles out most likely. Because I think we're all going to want caravans because it's really, outside of livery, it's the only form of draw here. And yeah, and that's kind of what I'm deciding right now. It's like, do I want livery or do I want caravan? And I go with the livery here, which I don't really disagree with here. Now the urchin does hurt a little bit because I'm at the end of my draw, and if I play port, I can put a mercenary on top of my deck, so I can kind of continue to draw it. But the thing is, if I had my entire hand, basically what I could do is I could have played both the upgrade and the mercenary, but now it's kind of sketchy if I'll be able to play upgrade, which in this case I will. And also, luckily here, with mercenary, I'm trashing pretty dang quickly. So, realistically, 2 mercenaries is looking really good right now. Plus, like, those discard down to 3 attacks are going to be pretty rough for my opponent. So yeah, I'm definitely ahead on trashing and more or less highly favoring my deck at this point. I'm going to play an upgrade. Yeah, definitely trash the copper here. One of the things also is once we run out of once we start running out of things to trash, you know, we can always start trashing. Like we can trash upgrades, and we can also trash mercenary itself. And yeah, here I'm just looking to get some caravans going. Getting double caravan, I think, is not a bad idea here. Okay, also, I want to say this point, because I did not recognize it at the time. So to play livery here, I'm going to make this mistake. You need to play livery first before you get the effects. So livery, if you don't know, is a card that when you play it and you gain a card costing more than 4, you gain a horse, which is like a laboratory that you can only play once. So the thing about livery is before you get its effect, you have to play livery first. So here, I'm going to make a mistake. I'm going to play university first before livery. But what I should be doing is I should be playing livery first, gain a horse, or livery first, then play university so I can gain an extra horse. See here, I could have got, I'm only going to get one horse here because I'm going to play livery and then buy a card. But here, but if I had played livery first, I could have got 3 horses because I'm about to get port. And yeah, I and realistically, what I could have done here is if I had played livery first, yeah, I would have got 2 extra horses. But yeah, well, at this point, I do realize it, and I do understand the error in my ways. But we're not in that bad of trouble though, because luckily we got a couple of things going for us here. We're still, even if we didn't get the extra draw, we're still pretty dang thin. And now we have 2 liveries and plenty of terminals placed to play the liveries. So draw is pretty soon gonna not really become an issue. Alright. So yeah, I have to discard something now. But not the best of what you want to see, but it's not the end of the world here. Kind of sad I have to get rid of mercenary, but it's okay for right now. So my opponent gets some caravans, I mean being his main source of draw. So I play Urchin. And I'm pretty lucky here. I get a caravan, so I have another Cantrip for draw. So that's pretty good. Definitely want to see our caravans. Yeah. Now, it's kind of a toughie of what you really want to put on top. You could probably put another caravan, or you could put a horse. It's really not clear. I'm thinking caravan here because caravan, this turn's not going to be great. We're realistically just trashing a copper. We might not even trash a copper, to be frank. A lot of horses don't make the shuffle, so I mean, like, I think caravan just gonna be nice to have at least both those cards hit. You know, their duration effects to hit pretty soon. So yeah. Now I make the mistake here again, but that's really no one to blame on myself here. I should definitely play livery first in the future, but I have not yet figured out that the thing you need to activate livery is you need to play it first. But it's okay. It looks like we more or less have an even split in caravans. Or you might have one more than I do. Either way, I still do favor my deck. It's a lot, I wouldn't say resourceful, but it's just a lot thinner. It's going to be more efficient soon once I start getting this livery draw going. So yeah, my opponent getting a livery. So now we're pretty much even on liveries and stuff. Now my opponent's looking pretty thin too. Now he's going to take a province. Alright. So So yeah, here it's not too bad. Not too bad here. We get to play a mercenary. And we get to draw. So we've actually gone through most of our deck at this point. And that's really before we discover liveries here. Alright, getting rid of that upgrade because it's at this point in the game it's going to be kind of a nuisance in our deck. Do I figure it out? It looks like I haven't figured it out yet that you need to play livery first. It's really sad, to be honest. I really could have. Or maybe this is the point in the game. Okay, at some point in the game I realized you have to play livery first to get the effects on it. And that point is definitely not right now. Unfortunately. So yeah, one of the good things about University also on this board is that it allows you to get some victory points, which are going to be pretty dang helpful here. Like, Island is technically an action, so it is gainable by University. So that's going to be pretty dang important. Island will be great once you can start, once we start greening, Island's going to be great here, because it's just gonna be able to make sure that, you know, a lot of the provinces we get, or duchies, are going to miss the shuffle. So yeah. Here I think I finally slow down. Here's where I realized to play livery. It's like, now I figure out the error of my ways. And luckily here I get 2 horses in my shuffle, so I'm pretty happy about that. And yeah, lucky for me, I don't trigger the shuffle. That would have been pretty dang bad, honestly. Yeah, I'm gonna top deck this horse because I wanna, if I can, I wanna hit both liveries, and should be pretty important here. So my opponent still doesn't really have a mercenary right now, so we're kind of winning in the attack game. We might get urchined here, but it won't be the end of the world. So now it's kind of starting to think about, like, what's our end game plan, right? So our deck right now, our deck right now is consisting of, we have 3 gainers, being we have 2 universities and we have 1 blockade. We have plenty of terminals placed to play it and we also have livery here. So we have 2 liveries. So realistically, we can keep getting 4 cards and keep getting horses at this point. And one of the 4 cards that's going to be pretty dang good here is Island. And we've already talked about Island, but like Island's just going to start allowing to really thin the deck, especially since we should have plenty of draw here, and we should honestly, what was I gonna say? It's like we have plenty of draw, and plus at this point we'll have plenty of terminal space too, so it's not gonna really hurt us that bad. So we have, obviously we play this port right now, but I think just just in case, I want to play just in case, I definitely want to play both liveries now since I drew both of them. Alright, definitely trash the copper just to get an extra draw here. Alright, get horse. And just really just a great turn on our ends. We don't draw through everything in our deck, but it's kind of okay here because we realistically get to do everything we wanted to do with our deck. We get to exile, or it's set aside technically. We get to set aside a province. We get to get a crud ton of horses here because of double livery stuff. Um, and yeah, like we're doing pretty dang well off at this point. Yeah, so yeah, now we have just how many horses did we gain from that last play? We used 3 gains. Oh, also really good thing. Blockade is now guarding Isle, so that's going to be it's not going to be great for our opponent to go for islands, though it still might be worth it even with the curse attack on it. But with blockade we're able to um take out a pretty quintessential buy on this board, especially with universities and stuff. It's also important to note and look that we're also really facing a pile out here. So now technically we only have 4 gains here, right? But because we have 2 universities and we have a blockade. However, so we personally need 5 games to end the game at this moment. And honestly, we will be taking islands, so we can position ourselves, 1, to get the islands, and 2, to be kind of have that insurmountable points lead, you know? Just because we can gain islands while our opponent really doesn't have the option to. Also, playing double livery, province is going to be seem very likely here too. As long as it's really just as long as we draw our whole deck here, which is could honestly could it's very likely to happen, you know. All right, so yeah, we just play all the cantrips first, and we also have a ton of horses in this deck. Honestly, we could even trash some of the upgrades here. We're not gonna really need them at this point. Or it was mostly for trashing anyways, so we can always just use a merc on them to really slow down the opponent here. Yeah, we definitely draw the rest of our deck. It's pretty dang good. Livery's bomb deck, but it doesn't even matter now. So yeah. Yeah, debating if I want to island and island. Realistically, we're so close to the end of the game that it's not going to matter. I'm also thinking about probably maybe islanding upgrade or something. But yeah. Right now we're in a pretty comfortable position because if we get you know, if we gain the islands, we're gonna get some points. Now, okay, my apologies. Blockade is duration, so so yeah, it's not going to it's not gonna hit my shuffle this turn. So at this point we're not at an insurmountable points lead, but we are kind of limiting what he can do this turn. Especially having to do an urchin into a mercenary is not ideal for our opponent. And here we just got to grab a province. Now it's important to note our opponent can tie here hypothetically, right? Because he has the same amount of gains that we do. He could realistically possibly draw his deck. Yeah, it's actually going to be very likely he draws his deck, especially with those caravans. So yeah, I would what does it say? No, I take that back. He can't act. I take that back. My opponent doesn't really have the ability to win this turn. You would have to gain island, and you can't gain any other victory points with university. On top of that, blockade could really only get an estate. I take that back. He could have, for sure, he could have got some victory points using upgrade. My apologies. Alright, so now it's looking like we're going to draw our whole deck. We almost guaranteed have enough draw here. We just have an insane amount of horses in our deck. And, yeah, really at this point, almost, as long as we hit horses at the beginning, we're almost guaranteed, really, to hit our entire deck, which we do here. I think I just empty the piles, so I don't even really think about it. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, since island was empty, it didn't take long. That's why I didn't really worry about much else. But yeah, with that, we are up 1 game. Alright, heading into game 2. We have a couple of interesting things here. So let's just look at draw real quick. First off, for draw, we have some interesting stuff. Okay, first off, it's important to note we do have village support with native village, so terminal draw is now going to be a thing we can pretty reliably use. So we have native village, and that is our village on this board. So that's going to allow us to do a lot of different stuff, you know. As far as draw, we have really 3 options here. We have gear, we have werewolf, and we have crop rotation, all which are pretty good, you know. Gear is obviously one of the best +2 smithies in the game. And werewolf is a smithy that is +3 cards, but can also be played as an attack during the night phase, which is a probably won't be able to explain in this video, but after your actions, you can play it without using actions. It's kind of what it is. But yeah, let me just describe my opening, I guess. So we have draw of gear, and we also have we have draw of gear. We have village support with native village. Also, we sort of have haven that's like pseudo draw, but it's more like trashing, I guess. For trashing, speaking of which, we have butcher, which is kind of like a remodel that gives you coffers. Really good card. For buys and gains, we have farmer's market, which will give you a plus buy. We have courtier, which can give plus buy, and we have carpenter, which can get you gains as well. During the first half of the game, when they're basically when no piles are empty, it acts as like kind of like a iron, best kind of like an ironworks, where you can gain any card costing up to 4, which there are a couple you'd like to gain on this board. But also after 1 pile piles, it kind of becomes like a remodel. So it's like, it's kind of an interesting card, but yeah. So I guess I'm thinking about what I want to do here. There's a lot of things I could do here, but I think the thing I'm obviously going to want to do is I'm going to want to play gear. Yeah, I'm gonna want to play gear here, and I mean that's almost kind of a given here. Now, realistically, my options here, I was thinking it was either gear or native village. Realistically, I could have set aside. I could have set aside an extra copper if I wanted to get the native village. I think double gear here sounds pretty good to me, as in gear is just a great card in general. And even can almost support itself terminally as well, so it's not bad at all. Yeah, so for here, with Carpenter, I think what I'm going to definitely do here is I definitely want to start building up a native villages at this point, because what my plan to do with this deck almost entirely revolves around them. So yeah, native village, silver here kind of makes sense. Silver because I want to hit fives here. I want to hit butcher for sure. To start the trashing, you know. I want to get a lot of bad cards out of my deck and just build up some coffers. Yeah. Now he gets a town crier, so I guess realistically he probably is gonna want to use blacksmith, which is at some point I would say. Oh, this is also something I'm thinking about. Do I want to get crop rotation? Now, here I really wanted to get butcher, but I almost, reflecting back on it, I might have just top decked the estate and gotten crop rotation, because crop rotation's a really good I forget what it's called, but it's a really good effect thingy. But it's okay. I mean, getting butcher is not really bad either. Now we have 3 in hand. Now we set aside a copper, which is pretty good. That's one we want to hit with native village. Kind of helps us to thin our deck, and then when we want it back, we can basically take it back, which is not bad. So yeah, my opponent really going hard with the townfolk pile, which can be a good draw. It's not like a terrible. Well, it's not the best, but it's not terrible. One of the things I was a little confused about is, I'll spoil it. He's gonna go pretty hard on the town pile here, or the townfolk pile. One of the things I'm a little confused about is it's just not that you would use townfolk at all, but like I'm just wondering why. Like, why would you even why would you go for that when you have like really a lot better options here? When you have village support here, and that's kind of the thing about that pile. It's great when you don't really have village support. You know, Elder sort of gives you a village, kind of a pseudo village here, so that's not bad. But it's like there's already village support on the board, and I honestly think with like werewolf and gear, you have better draw options than what the townfolk can provide. But that's just my opinion. So I get a third gear here. Seems pretty interesting. I think the reason I probably would do that was I wanted to basically, okay, the reason you would get a third gear is because I wanted to hit werewolf by now, but I really didn't make my deck to hit fives. You know, I'm just trying to, or it's not hitting fives really that well at this point. I'm trying to build it up to where can consistently do stuff, but yeah. Now I finally get crop rotation. I learned the error of my ways. And that's going to be good because it's going to allow me to draw my deck a little bit better. And hopefully we'll hit, with the native villages and with the gears, we should be hitting 5s more often this time, you know. So that was good. But, yeah, now we can start building up werewolf draw and stuff. And I really do, like where this deck is going. And now with Butcher finally here, we'll probably finally be able to start, you know, trashing for native villages, which is going to be pretty good. Considering that we've usually bought them, which probably hasn't been the best thing ever. So, yeah, you're obviously going to use gear, then you're going to use crop rotation. Yeah. Having a little bit of trouble figuring out if I want to discard a state for some reason. I think the answer is obviously yes. Alright, and we hit a gear too, so that's pretty good. So 2 native villages equals 1 regular village. That's always kind of good to know. And yeah, that will guarantee you get the crop rotation draw next turn, so that's pretty good. Of Carpenter, realistically, you could... yeah, probably want to hit Farmer's Market because I want the points here. And I kind of don't want to just give him free points in Farmer's Market. Now by turn 10, I think we're starting to get into a good spot, you know. We have a werewolf. We have 2 gears. We have native villages. We have some trashing going on. We have crop rotation. I think we're finally going to be at the point where we're going to get the deck control we kind of want. So I think that's pretty good. It just took a little longer than I would have liked. Maybe I would have liked to get here maybe like a turn earlier, but it's okay. We're here now, and we are doing okay. So kind of plans here is we're realistically just going to be going with like native village werewolf till like pretty much the end of the set, you know. Now I'm obviously doing that in the wrong order. For some reason I hit crop rotation. I definitely should have put the estate in hand first. But really kind of made a mistake there. Yeah. Alright, so I set aside both of those. So, meaning we'll hit draw next turn for sure. And gear is kind of just nice because you can really set up your next turn very nicely. Which is not a reason why it's considered a really good card. And a reason I personally like it. So yeah, I'm thinking here what to go for 5. And honestly, another werewolf doesn't sound bad because I do want to be at the point where I'm drawing my own deck, you know. And I know with Carpenter and Butcher, I am going to be getting more native villages. So, yeah, I mean, I kind of am just here. My only real goal is to get to the point where I can draw my entire deck. And then from there, I can probably, I'm thinking like you got farmer's market stuff, you have butcher stuff. There's just a lot of things you can do here. So my opponent goes double elder here, which I guess makes sense. Just considering that's really his only form of village. But, yeah. I think I'm checking to see how many werewolves I bought. Or either that or native villages. Alright, well. It's pretty good to draw 2 native villages. I think So I meant to set aside there. So set aside and pick up. So that's basically, if you get 2 native villages in hand, you can draw 1 card. So it's like a half as efficient village. Wouldn't recommend it. Unless you kind of have to. Yeah. And you... And yeah, we pick up... Yeah, we're thinking if we want to trigger the shuffle. I think, personally, it's probably a bad idea. You want Butcher to hit next turn. And even with gear, you know, ensuring the crop rotation, it's probably not the best idea. So yeah, thinking what to get. Realistically, I love the Butcher to Native Village combo because you just get to, you get rid of an estate, you get a Native Village, and you get the coffers. That's really nice. Here I get a Werewolf though, probably thinking that I want to get draw anyways, you know. So yeah, I'm thinking if I want to trigger the shuffle. The answer is no. I don't want to trigger the shuffle. To be fair, I do it anyways. And that's really on me. You really only have your... I really only have myself to blame at this point. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm not super happy with my life decisions, but obviously can't take it back. I've revealed information about my hand, and that is not what you really want. I'm also thinking about what I want to get here. Realistically, I can set aside here a silver. I was thinking about getting another... You can get a couple of things. You can get an elder here, just to deny him elders. You can also get a werewolf. Just, you know, because werewolves are always going to be good. But I do go for an elder. Now, okay, I have to say it. There's a hilarious combo here. Where you do elder in the native village, and then it just works like a regular village. Because you pick up the card, and then you put it on your mat. So that's basically like just drawing a card, you know? So it's like... I find it hilarious. Here, but yeah. Okay, also, I'm gonna be just frank. I kind of got lucky here. To draw native village... To draw native village when triggering a terrible shuffle is kind of lucky. It's almost like a get out of jail free card at this point, almost, you know? Could have been in a much worse situation. Yeah, and then you get the crop rotation. Yeah. Like, that's just pretty lucky on my end. And at this point, for sure, I'm on the farmer's market, but I got to get the points. So I know for sure I wanted them. So, yeah, for me, it's just native village werewolf probably. Just because need more terminal space for sure, and need more draw. I say that and I do something different, you know. Probably another reason why I'm not doing post records anymore or post commentaries, just because it's better to know. I think it's also this. It's better to know what I'm doing in game as opposed to like knowing what to do right now. Because right now it's just like I remember what my general strategy was for like the game, but I don't remember like all the details, you know? Like, I I probably could have like told you why I was making a certain decision when I was in the game, whereas like outside of the game, I've already played the board, know how it plays out, and then like I know what I would have gone for, you know. Now here, it wouldn't have been much different, you know, what I went for. Like realistically speaking, may have made like a few different buys, but um, I realistically knew exactly what I wanted. Yeah, finally kind of getting our deck going. Um, which is pretty something I'm pretty happy about. Yeah, I mean we're finally getting it going. We don't have full deck control, but we're like hitting some werewolves, you know. And like we still have a couple like we have 2 gears and a werewolf down there. So like we'll have really decent draw here, you know. And that's also we also if we hit the estate in hand next turn then we're fine, you know. Yeah, not the best. I mean, Carpenter to Native Village does make sense. Or I can see using Carpenter as Way of the Otter. It is draw, and now we're just getting to the point where we can draw our entire deck. And yeah, we're gonna want this werewolf as well. And yeah, we have plenty of options too. I think really the main thing is as long as we have like as long as we have like you know native villages and gears like even this turn would normally be a dud turn but like with gear it's like we can at least set up for the next turn, you know. And if we draw a native village we can just set that aside to come be used next turn. It's also important to note we have 2 coffers, so if we draw like we can province this turn for sure, so it's not even really a wasted turn here. 6, I really think I don't really know how much that blacksmith was going to help my opponent. I was really thinking more like I really it doesn't really seem like it would help him that much. I would have rather tried the province if I were him. But, you know, that's his decision. Okay. Also, I have farmer's market if I want to do some stuff. Yeah, now for me, I definitely know I want a province. And even drawing this werewolf isn't bad because, you know, werewolf gives you the opportunity to throw attacks to your opponent. So, yeah, my opponent really going with the town. But kind of like I said earlier, it's like it helps. It's good for drawing when you don't have any village support, but here you do. Um, I maybe you can use Elder on Courtier for something extra, but it doesn't look great to me to be honest. Yeah, Way of the Otter means I can use Carpenter, which is pretty nice. Set aside a Butcher here. Yeah, just really gonna build up coffers. Get a province here. And oh gosh, you got poverty. That's a brutal one. That's an awful hex. Discarding on the free is just brutal in general, but I guess it was gonna hit eventually. You know, considering how often we integrated werewolf into our deck, like it was gonna hit at some point. So yeah, we're in a really good spot right now. We are drawing our deck pretty easily. We're getting to the point where we can consistently single province, and with the extra coffers we have left over, we can just, if we hit 7, we can just use one of them to hit province, you know? So realistically at this point, the game is more or less won here. And yeah, gear's also just been really nice, just helping me to set up for next turn, you know? Oh yeah, and here's the combo I'm talking about. Let's see, does he get a province? Oh yeah, he has enough money for a province. Here's the combo I'm talking about. Like, just so goofy. Elder in the native village to make it into a regular village. It's just like, it's really funny in my opinion. Thinking what I want to do. So here I decided to do gear, which I guess isn't bad. I don't completely disagree with it. Now, something I do completely disagree with is why the heck I did that. I don't really know personally, but I guess it doesn't matter. Look, one of the good things about hitting werewolf that turn is that we'll be able to have it next turn, and even if next turn duds, which it's not, werewolf can always be used as an attack, so it's like, it's always useful to have in your deck, you know? But yeah, at this point we're like 3 provinces ahead, with no real sign of slowing down. We haven't even used our coffers yet. The game's pretty much over. I think if my opponent had tried to do more stuff with Native Village, you know, had more terminal space, I think he would have had a lot better of a deck, honestly. I mean, Native Village may not be the best village, but it's something, you know. At very least, it's an Acropolis. You can help, you can still do stuff with it. And I guess to be fair, it did take a while to get enough native villages to do, you know, get enough draw to consistently hit province. But, yeah. I mean, turn 17 is pretty long. You know, that's not a normal game. It's not a normal game length, honestly. So we're not doing too bad here, honestly. We have our deck drawn for the most part. We can do a couple of things here. We can butcher this province for a Menard province and some coffers. That's actually pretty good. We can also, yeah, I guess we also can trash Carpenter for province, which I guess that doesn't seem bad either. I liked using it as draw personally, but it's okay. We have 5 werewolves in hand, so we'll have more than enough draw realistically for the rest of this game. And yeah, I mean, so my opponent's gonna have to get 3 provinces before I can really get 1, which just isn't gonna happen. Our deck's going, and it's already gonna probably be a consistent scorer at this point. Plus, we already have province in hand, so like crop rotation's gonna hit. Yeah, so my opponent buys a province. It's not bad. Set aside a card. He's aware of the draw. Now at this point, I also could have. One of the things I could have done here is I could have butchered a werewolf into a province, which would have been pretty good. But this is fine. This is fine also. Really just laying on the hexes pretty hard. But yeah, at this point the game's over. Unless he can double province, and even if he double provinces, he's gonna have 25 points to my 29, and can guarantee a score. So it's over. Also setting aside province and butcher, I can sort of double province. I can trash a province to get a province and then buy a province here. So that's an option here too for me. So you have to get double duchy here for things to really work out, which is kind of gonna mess with your draw the 7 hand. It's not gonna be great for that. Yeah, my opponent gets a duchy, so now if he double provinces, he can win, but it's really not looking super likely. Yeah, so he gets a gear, you use crop rotation. You can elder the native village to make it regular village. But I get 2 because I set aside 1 earlier. Yeah, here at this point I'm just gonna grab it. If it's in hand, there's no reason to make the game go longer. So yeah, here we are at. We are now at 2 games to 0. Headed in to game 3. Alrighty, starting game 3 right now. Looking at this board, we already have our second university board, so pretty interesting here. I think it's going to be very good here, considering the amount of desirable 5s you would want to have. Basically, Bandit Camp, Witch, Tragic Hero, Rabble all look like great cards to have. You also have you're also going to have Border Village here, which will be able to gain 5s as well. So kind of important 5s like Cursed Village, not Cursed Village, Border Village, Tragic Hero, Rival, and you can actually get Relic with Border Village, which is nice. Bandit Camp provides us with another village, and so does Crossroads. Also, we have Scheme. And also, this is pretty interesting because Salt the Orifice on the board, which can really speed up the pace of a game, really allows for some kind of pretty intense milling, honestly. So, Salt the Earth, you can trash a victory card from the supply pile, and you can gain 1 victory point for doing that. So, it's pretty good for ending the game. So unfortunately here, one of the problems of this board is that there is 1, no trashing, and 2, there's no plus buy. But you can always get at least, something with alms here. With alms you can get consistent schemes. Basically schemes is what you would probably want to hit with alms, not really much else. Maybe 1 crossroad or 2. Yeah, so I opened Potion Silver here. Really just wanted to hit some 5s, and obviously I want to hit University. Now here I'm not really sure what to do. I think realistically, if I'm to go back and look through the game, I think the thing I would have liked here is a scheme, but that's not what I end up getting. I get a second silver, which one of the problems with that is it definitely slows down my deck. Now that cut purse was pretty brutal, I'm not gonna lie to you. It definitely stopped me from getting a border village, and actually mine cost me, you know, it might have honestly cost me this game, I'm not gonna lie to you. Cut purse is hitting pretty hard this game, to be honest. But it's okay. We can still gain a witch here. And now we can alms again, meaning that we can still get some stuff. So realistically, the cut purse wasn't going to do a ton. It just stopped us from getting border village that last turn, which kind of stunk. But yeah. Yeah, I opted to get a scheme this turn, which is the better buy, I think. I think if I would have done this game again, I would have gotten more schemes for sure. But right now things are okay. So yeah, I have another university in hand. So we have a couple of options here. We have Rabble, Tragic Hero. We also have Bandit Camp as well, which hasn't been gained yet. But and a university for a third witch, but that's really a bad idea. I think Rabble would have been a lot better in that case. Would have allowed us to get more draw, or maybe even a bandit camp. I mean, honestly, like this board is gonna. The only plus buy here is Tragic Hero, which it's gonna be pretty inconsistent hitting because of let's see, just because of draw and stuff. So I have 6 here. So that was not. So yeah, obviously I think I want a border village, much more than I really want a university here. And now you kind of have to choose here between realistically, I have Tragic Hero, Relic, or Rabble here. All of which are good options. I go with Tragic Hero. I kind of think I should have focused more on Rabble, you know, in retrospect. One of the things of Rabble is that like this game is gonna kind of be, it's a pseudo slog. We have villages in draw, but like we have villages in draw, but we don't have trashing and we have cursing, so it's like it's kind of a weird board, honestly. Real. So anyways, we're down 2 curses to 3 at this point. Really just, I don't know what I would say about this game at this point. I think one of the things is I think the Tragic Hero was a mistake. I think I definitely over-terminal myself, and what I think I would have done differently is probably would have got more bandit camps, you know. The extra payload would probably actually help me here. And because you're not realistically going to get through your hand anyways. Maybe later you could start adding Tragic Heroes, you know, once you kind of had maybe more of consistent payload and stuff. But here it's just not very good. Yeah, here's a mistake I made this game. You're about to see it. Luckily, cut purse doesn't hit any coppers, and also kind of a weird thing. So his cut purse ended up hurting me, especially if that early border village buy. But the reason I didn't go cut purse this game was because the reason I didn't go cut purse was I wanted to have there's alms on the board, you know. And oh yeah, also here I'm thinking, okay, here I'm making a hard decision here. I don't know if I want to play this witch and give him a curse and trigger a terrible shuffle, or if I just want to kind of wing it, see if I hit the witches in the next shuffle, you know? Um, it If I had gone for this witch, which I don't think I am, if I had gone for this witch, there's a good chance I could have evened the piles out a little bit. Yeah, and also this is probably the worst possible draw, having all your terminal actions here together. But then again, saying all that, it's on me. I did over terminal myself here. Like, I definitely should have been getting more bandit camps for my university gains, and that's really only person I really have to blame is myself there. So, yeah, looking like we're gonna lose this one. And yeah, he has the lead on schemes, and which is probably the only real way to reliably draw the cards you want. Play the scheme. Don't hit the card I want, unfortunately. Yeah, so now it's just time to alm schemes. Okay. Yeah, see, one of the things back there is like he got to play both his witches both turns. Probably because he built. I feel like he was scheming. He built his deck a lot better than me. Like, he definitely had a lot more schemes, and I definitely could have gained some more. Definitely could have gained some more, but that's really. A lot of these things are definitely like just really not paying super well attention to what I'm gaining here. Yeah, opponent gains a rabble. Yeah, so Rabble's actually one of the things I will say. Rabble is very good here. Because Rabble is, with draw like this, you're going to probably be drawing every turn, right? And if you can have like your good cards miss the shuffle and have like, junk cards like, what you call it, like your green cards or your curses on top, it's going to be a pretty big deal. Now, okay. Just honestly, we basically lost the game at this point. We aren't getting really back here, but right there, I salt the earth because there's really no other way to there's nothing else I really think I can do here. Like, we lost the curse split 7-3, like, and we're backed against the wall super hard. Yeah. Gains in a state, but I sort of don't like that from him. He has a points lead, and there's no real reason for him to get the estate, the stop card. But it's of course it's his choice. What he wants to do with all his stuff, and I get a rabble here. I am being severely over terminal. I get a rabble here, so I can't really criticize my opponent realistically. I'm more of the problem here. Anyways, I have 8, so I get a province here, which it's pretty good, honestly. Getting the province means that it means we're still in the game. Our deck's still considerably worse because of all the curses. But at this point you can pile out here. Like, you can there's a possibility of me piling out with the lead, you know. So I mean, things really could be a lot worse than they are. So yeah, university, and I have a little bit of a tough choice. Do I go for a rabble or do I try to prolong the game? So, and in this case, I don't try to prolong it. I think realistically at this point, I'm kind of thinking, kind of in doom and gloom mode. I don't think, kind of in the all hope is lost kind of category right now. So yeah, what he has to do here is basically all he has to do here is gain a duchy, and he will be pretty good. So yeah, my opponent not really lowering the rabbles, kind of knowing that there's a chance that I could essentially lower that pile. Not bad draw though. I will have to say. Now, if I had gone for if I were really risky and I had gone for it all, I could have lowered rabble down to like one card and just gambled it all there. You know, could have been the fact that, you know, maybe he had a bad turn or something like that. No, I didn't. I kind of chickened out a bit, but yeah, because one of the things I will say is my deck is considerably worse than his. I have 4 more curses, and I think realistically, going for the risky move, like the really risky one, would have actually caused me to win this game, which would have been crazy. Would have been a crazy comeback with 7 curses, but no. Force Rabble is going to be very good here, I think. Some pretty important stuff got trashed. Yeah, see, having 2 curses top deck isn't good. Kind of the power of reason behind Rabble. See, even with all that, my opponent just owns an estate. Really kind of surprised by that. But, so he schemes. Okay. Yeah, here. Yeah, not in a great position here. Kind of forced to buy the estate here. I think neither me or my opponent really went up in money. Considering I think I bought I'm still the only one that bought silvers, so I think my opponent didn't buy any money. If that was something I caught in game, that would have been pretty good, but I didn't. Now of course, here's a pretty good hand. Yeah, I see, like, leading Rabble with 2, or just even banding camp with 2, just not a good idea. I was just kind of just waiting for my opponent to have a really good hand. And that's not something I really should have done. Yeah, so from what it looks like right here, I think he already has enough money in hand, if I'm correct. Yeah, he does. So he has a spoils, 3 coppers, and a cut purse. Comes out to 8. Excuse me, 4 coppers. So, yeah. So, ends on a 3 pile. Really should have, been going for some other stuff there. Or, I don't think I shouldn't have gone for other stuff. I think I just overemphasized terminal draw and did not have the terminal space to really support that draw. And I think that's the main thing that lost me the game. Going back and looking at it. Oh yeah, looking at this board. So if you'll notice here, there isn't any village, but there's a lot of cantrips here though, right? You have you have Spice Merchant, which is kind of a cantrip. Not really, I guess. You have Partition, which is pretty much a pretty heavy cantrip. You have Conspirator, which is pretty good. Spice Merchant is also a cantrip of sorts as well. And yeah, so, and also there's Way of the Horse here, kind of making, there's like sort of this interesting dynamic that any card you can buy, like, can become a horse, you know? Meaning that, like, this Spice Merchant, once I'm done, you know, trashing everything I want to trash in my hand, it's going to still be, useful, because I can just use a horse to get it out of my deck and use it for draw, which is very good here. So yeah, so since my draw is mostly cantrip based that I'm thinking about, I'm obviously gonna kind of want to hit a Partition here. Not too really worried about Sentinel stuff, but yeah, I mean, so far so good. We're off to probably about, you know, kind of close to where we want to be. So our opponent buys two Partitions, you know, which makes sense, you know. Partition is a card that it's a cantrip, so you draw 1/1/1 action, and if the card, and it reveals after you draw, it reveals the top card of your deck, and if it costs more than 5, basically, if your card costs more than 5, then it puts it into your deck, so kind of giving a laboratory effect. I'm really having good Sentinel draw there. Like, I think that couldn't have possibly gone better for me. So, yeah, right now I'm thinking about what I really want in my deck. I'm thinking between Partition and Conspirator. I'm gonna opt for Conspirator, only because it's pretty good payload, and if I can hit Spice Merchant and Partition, it's going to be very strong, you know? So, Iron Conspirator right now. It's also just a great card. Also, Sentinel's going to be very good, you know, using that as a horse here. Just because, you know, the problem with any trasher is that once you trash completely with it, then your empty trasher is still clogging your deck, which won't really be the case here with Sentinel if we can use it for draw, you know. And plus, we're gonna have Spice Merchant to take care of like the rest. Yeah, I mean, we have Spice Merchant to take care of the coppers, so there's not a huge really need for Sentinel right now. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna wave the horse to Sentinel. And really can go either way here. I can trash the I can trash the copper and use the inherent buy an +2 on Spice Merchant to get money, or I can basically draw into Conspirator. It's about the same either way. So we have 6 here. Now my opponent got the last they got the last partition here, so we're just gonna get the Emporium. Reason I got the Emporium over Conspirator is so Conspirator, you need to play at least 2 other cards before it, before you get the Cantrip ability. And here it's like Emporium can be drawn by partition, but on top of that, Emporium is just every Emporium I get denies my opponent an Emporium and basically allows me to play my Conspirators, you know. So it's really a card I do enjoy having. Here we go. So now we have 8. So it's a little bit of a tough decision here. Also think if I want tracker or not. But I'm gonna want silver here just to build a payload, because right now it's going to be diminishing as, you know, we trash more and more coppers here with Spice Merchant. And also, here's the thing about Emporium. Like, getting the Emporiums denies my opponent access to Emporiums. So there's only so many victory points you can get off it, you know? Which is a little bit of the problem with having all these partitions, is that, like, you're not drawing anything with them, you know? And unfortunately, he isn't even able to get the Emporium points, which is kind of sad. But yeah, Emporium, luckily this turn I'm going to be able to get the Emporium points, and I'm going to be able to buy 2, which is great for me. So I went up to 9 points because of the tower. My opponent had 4 partitions in hand, so he got... Well, he had 4 partitions and 2 Emporiums, I believe, right? No, he only has 1. I'm still a little bit confused how he has 6 points, to be honest. Because I should have the majority of the Emporiums. Or I should have 4 of them. Yeah, I do have 4. Yeah, I'm actually kind of confused how my opponent has 6. And he didn't get any Emporium points. Kind of scratching my head here, but we'll see. Not the end of the world. He doesn't. Oh, he probably has a stage he hasn't trashed yet. That might make sense. Yeah, deciding if I want the extra copper for Spice Merchant food. Deck's coming along pretty nicely, though, I will say. I think the only thing... We already have at least one source of +1 buy. I think it would be nice if we had an extra one, either with Wine Merchant or Salvager. Both of those could work. And this is one reason I'm thankful for Way of the Horse here right now. I don't have to trash I don't have to trash that silver right now, and I can use the Spice Merchant to get another partition so I can activate both my conspirators. And one thing we are ahead on is payload, so that's nice, though my opponent is quickly catching up. Alright. So luckily, we are able to activate our conspirators, so that's really good. So yeah, with only 2 buys, we're not exactly where we would like to be. I want to be at the point where I probably can. Well, honestly, I kind of just am building my deck to have options right now. I want to be able to double province if I can, possibly bishop. I think right now I just want to keep building it till I start greening, or maybe I also another possibility is taking tower points. For me, doesn't seem too bad. Unfortunately, one thing with Way of the Horse is that since the card goes back to the pile, you can't just rapidly get cards and go for a pile out that way, because if you use them as horses, they'll just return back to the deck where they came from. So, yeah. Kind of thinking about this one. But I think the play here is probably Conspirator, Salvager. Just really taking time to see if I want that, or if I want a province too. Well, I for sure have a Conspirator. Other options here, really, either our 3 options are basically Salvager, Merchant. You could also go Courtier. That's fine too. Courtier can work too. Or you go province here. Yeah, just a little confused on what I want to do here, so I'm just really taking time to think about it. But I think, yeah, I think it's just pretty. This is just a pretty critical buy. So, yeah, taking a bit of time, so I understand why my opponent's a little upset. And yeah, eventually I do take the Salvager, and I think that's good. I think that's a good take here. We can get rid of the extra silver we have in our deck, so we can so that's not bad. So my opponent gets a bishop, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I guess right now here it looks like the game's just gonna keep going and it isn't gonna end. So I guess bishop isn't the worst form of alt VP in the world. And here we do make enough to hit double province, so we make enough to hit double province, so we just go for it here. Also, Salvager can be used as a way of a horse, if nothing else. And on top of that, Salvager also can be used to mill, so we can use it to end the game pretty quickly. Okay, so the opponent does have an estate in hand. Perhaps the bishop was him wanting to get rid of the estate. Yeah, makes sense. At a point where my deck's already pretty thin, that could make sense. So yeah, my opponent province is against Conspirator. Against a Conspirator. So yeah, I use my Emporiums. Then my Conspirator. No, I have... Here I do have enough for a province and something else if I want. I have really two options. I can salvage or silver here, which might be a good idea considering it's kind of a stop card, you know? And we'd rather not have stop cards in our deck, especially when we're going to start putting more green cards in. I could horse the salvager, but I'm not really in the mood for that right now. But I go for the trash right now. And the reason I want to do this is because, one, I want the tower points, but now I have enough to double province again. And honestly, if salvagers kind of collide, I can use it as Way of the Horse. So really, it's just kind of a lot of stuff I can do here. I'd say right now I'm in a pretty good position, you know. Opponent's not really in a great spot, really. Doesn't have enough payload to really do a whole lot. And luckily I can play all these Conspirators. So I'm thinking about playing as a horse, but kind of looking at it, one of the things I can do here is if I salvager the salvager, I can get 4 coins, and I can get enough money to get double province. So that's what I go for here. I knew I was going to get rid of the second salvager at some point, but it's actually kind of not the way I expected. So that was pretty interesting. So yeah, I uses a bishop as a horse. And now it's pretty over. I say that if you can double province and get enough, generate enough coins, he could win. But that's gonna not be likely. Here he just goes for the province anyways. If I don't land a province this turn, I will definitely lose. But I'm for sure gonna do it with this Conspirator draw. And I guess I just play it out just cause. So, yep. Yep, get my province. Yeah, just end the game. Alrighty. So right now we are winning 3-1. Which I think we're doing pretty good at the moment. Pretty good. I think except for game 3 where we really didn't get a lot of terminal space, I think we're doing all right. Oh, so there's also another thing that I forgot. So when we were playing our match, the semifinals, our first is the best of 5, so the first of 3 wins. But I thought, me and my opponent thought it was the best of 7, so we ended up playing to 4 wins. So if it was playing best of 5, I would have won the set right there. But since me and my opponent were deciding to play the best of 7 because we didn't know the rules, we ended up continuing the match. And I mean, to be fair, if I'll give it a little bit of spoiler, if my opponent had won, I might have just given it to him, you know? Like, if my opponent had won this set, I would have just given it to him because I think that we kind of agreed on best of 7, and even if, you know, it would be pretty dishonorable just to be like, oh, well, It's technically a best of 5, so I technically would have won, but but yeah. So just go into this game. Okay, this game there's no real terminal space, but there is a little bit of stuff you can do. You have trashing, and you have draw with laboratory and stables, and you can do some rebuild stuff too. So also, yeah, I mean, but I think the opening here is, you don't have to think very long about it. Sinister plot catapult. You might open Jack of all trades if there wasn't, well, you need terminal space for that. You're really not gonna get it. Um, yeah. What did my opponent open? He opened catapult. They get a 5. Oh, they got a baker, yeah. Okay, so just gonna explain what I'm about to do here, because it's not smart, but it is worth noting. So one of the cards I do struggle with the most is rebuild, because sometimes it's very good, sometimes it's very not good, Um, here, like, I somehow thought that it was kind of a dominant card, and I should try to use it here, especially with not a lot of trashing. Which, to be fair, I think I should have at least used one rebuild. However, I did this the wrong way. I'm just going to be upfront with you. Like, I think if I had tried to build rebuild into my deck instead of doing an only rebuild kind of thing, would have been a lot better. But rebuild can kind of be really unreliable as well. So, yeah. Deciding what I want to do here. So I trash this copper and kind of do absolutely nothing. Can get a silver here. Which is what I do right now. So if my strategy, and you'll see this come around, it's basically entirely like rebuild, and it's just terrible. I mean, it's not terrible, it's just not good here. I also thought that feudum stuff would have worked well with rebuild, but I don't think that's really the case, to be honest. So this was kind of not the best deck I could have built, but it's not terrible. I mean, I guess you learn, you kind of go through these games to learn things like this, and sometimes I think I should have probably tried this out maybe on like a non-tournament game, because this is game 5 and I could pretty quickly just throw away the game or just end the game here. And but I think what I should have done is, for sure, I should have started trying to draw my deck first. Then I probably should have got a captain, eventually my captain could replace my catapult, and could be used as a nice trasher, almost like an amulet, or like also could be used as a little bit of a draw with Jack of all trades, especially when you have catapult attacks coming in. I think that's fairly good. But yeah, this just isn't really going to cut it. I don't think we even hit like more. I think at most we hit 2 rebuilds, I think. Which just isn't really a lot to build a deck off of. Yeah, you can incorporate Bakers in if you want. You know, just building up coffers. I mean, I think here, if I had just kind of gone with a lab strategy, you know, like maybe laboratory Baker, that works. But I'm also being a dead horse. So yeah, thinking about a second catapult here. Because why not? Why not at this point, you know? We're not hitting 5 anytime soon. But I ended up going for a silver, probably to go feudum points, so well, that's even really bad. See, like, just putting rebuild in your deck would have been the way to go. Like, I think I would have just done lab rebuild, Baker, a captain, would have been great. Yeah, so I'm going to kind of keep doing this strategy that this kind of crumbling castle strategy. So I'll give him a copper and give me a bunch of silvers because I want to start hitting 5, and now at least he gets a curse. Will that curse do anything? Don't ask me, but probably will do a little. Probably have to catapult it at least once. Yeah, so we're gonna keep going on the rebuild train here. We're gonna keep riding it till our eventual demise. Yeah, so he hits the province there. So you can probably see why his deck's doing pretty well, right? I mean, he can take his sweet time because I'm not gonna be going up by victory points that much. I mean, I went up a little bit there, but like, I mean, he has the means with, especially building up bakers. You can just, you know, you can just consistently province towards the end of the game. So, not a great spot. Here, I'm gonna go feudum because if it's trashed, you get silvers, which are useful for hitting 5s and also useful for just taking advantage of some of the silvers in my deck. Plus, a feudum can be trashed for a duchy, but not that that's even a really good idea. Yeah, so I mean, he's at the point really. He probably should have got a duchy, so he can deny me getting duchies. And now he has a points lead also, which is just not really what you want to see. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, it takes the last touchy. I think that's a good play. Yeah, so we're not going to be hitting, we aren't going to really be hitting 5 here. Trying to slow him down with curses, but it's kind of, the game's already over at this point. Like, Micha has everything he needs to really end the game here, so it's going to be kind of pointless. Yeah, alright, so for 5, can't do anything. So we'll just get another Feodum. Not going to put us over the edge at all. Maybe could have been better. Maybe in a different life it could have been better, but not right now. Yeah, and he has a consistent points lead at this point, and like, so it's like, you really probably should have resigned right now. So yeah, I get Feodum. Kind of trying to catch up with Feodum points. It's not gonna happen. It's debatable if you even want to play this rebuild. Yeah, and here, okay, yeah, I should have enough to end the game. And there we go. And that's the end of game 5. Really just running a not very good rebuild strategy. Yeah. So heading into game 6. Alright, going into game 6. Yeah, so I'll spoil this for you again. I just completely misplayed this game. To an extreme almost. But yeah. So if you notice, we opened 3-4. There's like a ton of options you can open it with here. You've got Inventor, you got Urchin, you got Fortress, you have Transport, and you just have a lot of options here. So Transport means that any card can get top decked, you know. Now, if I was going, I go a Transport route here, though it was not the right open here. I think I should have looked at the board a little longer, but I go Transport, and I think what I should have done is well, you're about to see what I'm about to do. I'm going to Transport here, but I have to choose which card I want to transport, which basically guarantees a top deck on turn 3, and I'm not really sure what I want. I was thinking really I might want like Junk Dealer here, but I guess that's kind of weird. I don't really know what to do right now. Kind of lost. This is a great board. I'm just like confused on how to play it. So I think if I were going the transport route, I think I would have done a Junk Dealer. So I guess you don't know the card I'm going to transport. The card I'm going to transport is a Cultist, being I don't want to be behind in ruin stuff right now. So I was thinking like I could put it on top turn 3, which I think it would have been good to get that card like Cultist later. I just don't think the opening was the right time. I like my opponent's opening a lot better, Inventor Urchin. And yeah, we topped. Either way, we topped like this Cultist. So we're going with it now, for sure. Apologize about that. So yeah, so let's just talk about this board for a bit. I haven't done that yet. So terminal support, you have Fortress. For trashing, you're gonna have Trading Post, Junk Dealer, and Transmogrify, all of which can do some pretty good stuff. For draw, you're gonna have Mercenary, and you're gonna have Sheepdog and Cultist. Realistically, all of those will be draw, and that's all pretty good draw, you know. Sheepdog can also have activation using Transmogrify or Inventors, so Sheepdog will be very relevant here. Yeah, just a lot of good stuff on this board. And I think also just want to say that I'll be upfront, I greatly undervalued how good Inventor would be, but and I think I definitely overestimated how good Transport was going to be. Luckily we hit Cultist twice. Now there's also one real problem about Cultist as well, is that well, there's really two. You know, one, there isn't plus buy on this board, except with Ruin Market. You know, you can gain stuff with you can also transmorg fortresses. You know, you can transmorg fortresses into 5 cards, which would be pretty good too. But your really only source of multi, like, if you're gonna like double province, you need a Ruin Market here, and like, that's like the thing about ruins, is that like Ruin Market is sometimes it's actually a good card and worth getting. Like, not gonna lie, there is a world where I unironically buy Ruin Market here. I don't think if it's right for my deck, but like that buy is gonna be nice, you know. And when you get to the point where you're drawing your deck, it's very convenient, especially if you can combine it. Like, if you can hit enough like inventors, you know, it can just be super strong. You don't need much money to get gains. Now I'm gonna be frank here. I am overusing transport. I don't think you're supposed to use it this much. I don't have a deck right now. Transport, okay. So why am I using transport this much in the game? What's going on with me? Well, the transport I saw was, I think I saw in Thunder Dominion was ranked #1 for like I think they're called events. Yeah, it's #1 for events, and I just really yeah, should drop Cultist here. Get some. Right now, I probably should get rid of Cultist. I don't. I see. It would have been better to get Fortress. I could have double Fortress this turn, but okay. I'm going back to transport though. One of the main problems, with one of the main problems is that like maybe it's good for getting like a grand market turn. Like it might be good for getting Grand Market turn 3, right? Or like maybe a card you really, really would like. But it's not. If you just keep using it, especially if out plus buy, it just takes up so much turns. Like I think I spent 3 turns just transporting good cards, and there's like no reason for that to be a thing. Alright, we luckily at least trash all our states, so we're at least fairly thin right now. One of the good things, I will say. I think we for sure need a cultist here, and if I... Yeah, I mean, if I got a fortress here, I deserve to lose this game. Like, like, I should have got it, like, a turn ago, you know? I should at least have 2 fortresses in my deck by now. I don't. But that's really on me here. And I get a fortress. Really should have just been worried about. Really should have just been worried about. Okay, might as well just slow him down with all the ruins. Only thing here though is that having ruins means you have stuff to trash, and that's just not. That's not great considering. I mean, junk dealer, it's just designed to clear it out, but if you get a mercenary going, then that is just terrible, you know, especially with like fortress. And well, then again, you could just use mercenary to trash fortress, so you might not. There might be some merit, but I'm definitely making a ton of misplays right now. I think really going back to my mentality during this game, I was definitely like nervous. Pretty don't think I was, for whatever reason this game I wasn't like mentally at my best. So it's not to say I don't deserve this loss, but like it wasn't the best here. So my opponent now has 2 junk dealers, a bunch of ruins, their deck. Well, one of the things that we do have an advantage on is we are getting thin. I do not know how much money we have though. Yeah. Okay, using the sheepdog to draw some stuff with cultist. I think all I wish is like if I had gone the strategy, if I kept doing cultist, you know, or if I had done things in a little different order, I think it would have been better. I think I could have got like all the ruins in his pile, and he would have been really not in a good spot. Now I'm worried about fortress pile out. I really, realistically, I should just get another cultist, but I don't. This is really bad play on my part. Really. Also, kind of want to say this on something that I've just noticed, at least from my own play, is that if well, maybe getting that fortress wasn't so bad, but like just based on my own play, like it's always really important to like look, you know, at the beginning of the game just to see what's available, you know. Really it's kind of an underrated part I think of Dominion, you know, is like looking at the board, seeing what you can do. And honestly, even here right now, we could be in a lot worse position, you know. Now, I think our biggest problem right now is that we don't have a lot of terminal space. But I think that there's still a way to make a deck like this work, you know? I don't know why I'm getting... Well, I guess I'm low on payload, but... Trading post not good here. Uh, this is... This... I think these last... I mean, the game 5 was misplayed, definitely. That one I could at least respect more, because, like, I was going for something a little bit risky, and I accepted the fact I could be wrong. Like, I mean, I think here is just horrible play on my end. I don't think there's really justification for the things I'm doing. I mean, I guess trading posts will get rid of both these coppers, and I can chunk dealer it, so it's not bad. I can use inventor to get more inventors. Well, makes somewhat of sense, I think. Especially considering, you know, mercenary attacks are coming, and probably, I assume my opponent's going to start attacking pretty soon, especially since they have their deck going. But I really think... See, I think if I were smart, I would have tried to go for inventors here. Because I think inventors are going to give me gains, and even with, to be honest, even with the beginning of the game misplayed, like, yeah, you definitely want to get rid of trading posts here. Even at the beginning, just like horribly misplayed, we are still somehow in this game, right? And like, maybe we don't have the deck control, or really the deck that our opponent has, but like, we also get a ruined market, which is not bad. But for certainly, like, certainly we can at least like lower piles with like inventors, right? Still, like, you know, you can get a couple of duchies going, you know. You can get a couple of duchies and maybe get some fairground stuff in. And like, you know, we already have 2 piles low, right? So realistically, gaining inventors would have just helped us out a ton. Now, okay. Here, I'm going to say I misplayed this again. So I should have junk dealered my fortress to start the turn off, and then played fortress, you know, cultists, you know. Now this way it's like, this isn't good. See, I'm just trading this fortress like a village. Now I have nothing to junk dealer when I for sure could have had something to junk dealer. And I get rid of the ruined market. Okay. See, this game is realistically just kind of mistake after mistake after mistake. Just seeing what I could have played better, and I don't consider this to really be my brightest game at all. And let's talk about the merit of what I did, right? Let's talk about that right now. Cultists, you know, Cultist is consistent draw. Why did we get a silver? Why did we get a silver? Okay. It's because we wanted the province. Okay, so we wanted to have enough money at the province. Okay. Well, I guess that's fine. I guess get the points lead, but it's just gonna be nowhere as good as like inventor stuff, you know, what I was doing. And I really could have threatened to pile out if I had gone for more inventors. Um, yeah, see, he's trashing fortresses. You know, that's like what you should be doing. Though I don't know if I agree with keeping survivors in your deck. I'm not sure how much that card's really doing for you. All around, like, this is already at this point, the game is so misplayed that it's almost shocking to watch. See, and he also lowers duchies. He gets another cultist. Alright, and I don't... Well, I mean, it's a little too late, actually, for me to play Junk Dealer. And you might activate a Sheepdog. And then I'll play my last cultist. Here's what I should do. I should inventor an inventor. What am I doing in my life? I don't. I feel like what's really sad about this situation is that we're playing so horribly right now. Like, probably some of the worst Dominion we've played in a while, right? We're playing some of the worst, yet we're still in this game. It's just mind boggling, some of the bad decisions we've been making. Um, like, if literally, I think if I had gone at any moment, if I had gone for like an adventure over like a silver, I would have been in a much better shape. Would have had much more piling potential, right? Gonna have to trash this cultist to now have a dud turn. Doesn't matter. Kind of gonna have one anyways. Um, yeah. How many cards can I go? How many cards can Fairgrounds go up to? It has 12 if you count Urchin. Actually, it has even more if you count Ruins. I mean, Fairgrounds could go up to 8 points in this board, hypothetically. It might be too late for me to bring it up to 8 points, but that doesn't mean it couldn't do this, so hypothetically. Yeah, see, now we're just getting provinces and we're just waiting to lose at this point. And he has a mercenary going. What else? Oh, he has Cultist as attack. That's why. I was like, usually you need 2 Urchins, right? But Urchin is... It doesn't need a second Urchin. You just need another attack card to do it. It's one of the good things about getting Cultist for his deck. And now, something I could have thought about in post-game is that I could have done the same thing. Yeah, now I'm finally starting to do inventor stuff, but it's a little late at this point. Yeah. wasn't really gonna win on provinces. My deck is not good enough to support a bunch of provinces. Well, it's not good enough to support a lot of stuff, I guess. My opponent has a dead turn. That's horrible. But, let's get a second urchin. Yeah. You know, it's honestly painful to go back and look and see me not playing Junk Dealer on Fortress when I could have so easily done it. Like, it's a little painful to watch, I'm not gonna lie. It's like, it's right there. It's like free money, free draw, sort of. And you just refusing it. Just so sad. Yeah, and then oh, wow. Oh man, that hurts. This I play. Okay, this was a terrible game. Wow. I play Sheepdog first when I could have drawn it for free if I had played Inventor first. And you know, I'm gonna say it. Sheepdog would have been so good for this deck. You know, if I had gotten Inventor Sheepdog stuff going, like it already probably helped me. You know, it's helped me like get deck control. It's like, man, it's not bad. Actually, what's shocking here is I think we have a worse deck by far. But, well, not by far. We do have a worse deck. We have less gains and stuff. Yeah, we're still. The fact that we're still in this game is nothing less of shocking, to be honest. I would. I'd trash the moat, but what do I know at this point? You know, it's almost as if every decision I made was like the wrong one, you know? Well, not everyone, okay. Let's not beat ourselves up too much, but like just so many decisions we're making are just not good at all. Yeah, doing that to have the points lead. Now, I think inventoring Inventor would have been better here. Being our real chance of winning is a pile out. And now, what's crazy about this is that like, well, you'll see in a sec. I guess we have a ruin. See, like those. See, one of the things I'm like failing to realize, it's like it seems those ruins are still hurting him, despite the fact he has just way better cards. It's like those ruins still seem to be coming into effect. All right. Oh, wait. Wait, what? Why did I get another inventor now? If I could have got... No, wait. If I had played inventor estate, right? Estate, I would have been 27. Oh, I could have tied this game. Ah, just playing poorly to the end. I think I play. It just doesn't stop, man. If we had, there's no reason to get that inventor. We weren't gonna get through our shuffle, most likely. Like, this is a missed tie. This was bad. See, okay, if I had done an inventor duchy or estate first, right? I would have been 27. If I invented duchy, I would be at 30. And then with my one buy, I bought the last estate. That would have been the game. It's painful to watch, but I guess it's a good thing to watch. It really shows. I think if I can go back and learn anything from this game, it really shows why you need to look at the entire board, you know? And even here, when I was going to be honest, I was kind of panicked at the beginning of this game. Just, if you need time, just take it, you know? If your opponent, it's a tournament game, just give yourself some time to calm your nerves. And really, just, I can't really allow myself to get tunnel vision because at the end of this game, I definitely could have played this better. And this would have been the set if would have been the set if I had played a little differently. But it's okay. We learn from our mistakes and we keep playing. And this is me just thinking, is there anything I could do to possibly win this game? I think at this point I have to accept that I cannot win this game. And we kind of accept defeat and we move forward, you know? Alrighty, so now we're going to go into game 7 here. In game 7, and realistically, you know, it didn't have to go to game 7, I think. If I, you know, game 5 I took a risk and I was willing to lose. Game 6 I just played really poorly. So game 7, right now my mentality is just like, you know, I understand like what happened last game. Like, okay, I rushed myself. I wasn't, you know, thinking. I was scared. You know, I didn't want to be like that this game, you know. So this game, I'm definitely thinking, okay, calm down, take your time, examine the board. Don't rush yourself, you know. Don't let yourself just be scared. Just like play the game, you know. And like just think about the best thing you can do. And really that mentality shift is really what helped us to, you know, play this game, you know. Yeah. So here I just took a while to like slow down and think, you know. What were my goals? What was I looking for on this board? So with that being said, let's look at it together. Let's start with draw. For draw, we have rabble. So that's good. On top of draw, we have rabble, we have via, you know, and that catches my eye pretty immediately. Rabble and the via is a very good combo, or like any terminal draw and the via is a good combo. Realistically being that like you can play rabble and then you can buy via and then you can kind of extend your turn, being just super strong here. I also noticed a couple of other things on the board that I'm pretty interested in. I see that there's Populate on the board, and Populate is a card that, or it's not a card, it's an event that lets you get every action on the board, which is very good. It's almost very good And in most cases, it's pretty good. Here it's excellent because of really two factors. There's a lot of, there's a lot of cards that would be desirable here, like Alter, Dismantle, Ramble, all that stuff, And there's also Way of the Mole, so it sort of works as like a pseudo draw, So, like, if I can Way of the Mole something, I can draw 3 more cards and discard the rest of my hand, which could be good for dealing with not very much terminal space here, So it's almost a way of pseudo drawing. And as far as like trashing, we have Catapult. We have Catapult, we have Chapel, we have Junk Dealer, we have Replace, we have Dismantle, we have Alter. We have a ton of trashing options, So I think with all that being said, what exactly are we building our deck up to? Right now, we're building it up to the point where we want our deck to be able to hit Populate. That's probably our biggest goal right now. Like, we want to hit Populate, and we want to get there the fastest way possible. Which is why we opened Silver Chapel. Silver is going to allow us to hit price points, and Chapel is going to allow us to get rid of junk pretty quickly in our deck. There's also something else I want to say. To get to Populate, I want to use Rabble Via. The reason being, Rabble is great. That's gonna be establishing draw, So the idea here is with Rabble, we want to establish deck control, and Via kind of helps us to really have like a deck going, Via being the only source of village here, and Rabble being the only source of draw. So I think that's pretty important to me. So he plays Way of the Mole, gets a Dismantle, and gets a gold into his deck. And thus ends Mika's turn, or Micha, one of the two. So now we get our Rabble, which is very good. And now we are mostly going to do our trashing stuff. Nothing really we're going to want for 2 here. Now this is an excellent hand. Now he already has his deck discard down to 5. So yeah, his plan was to get golds pretty low, and then pretty clearly he wants to use a legionary attack pretty consistently. Yeah, I'm doing this because trashing Overgrown Estate is going to draw us a copper. Or at least a copper. Could have also... No, it would have guaranteed draw a copper. So, one of the things we are going to want is a Dismantle. Because we are gonna want to get golds, and we want to have the mechanics to we want to thin our deck a bit, but also we just want to be able to get gold into our deck because they're going to be pretty good this game. 1, golds help us to hit Populate. Golds help us to hit Populate, and 2, golds can combo with 2 cards pretty well on this board. It combos with Legionary, which is a pretty strong attack. Well, actually, it's arguably the strongest discard attack in the game, and it combos with Replace. Replace being like a remodel that will be able to curse our opponent and give us a province. And we're pretty lucky here to have both Via and Rabble in our in our deck right now. So you can just play both of them. So we get our chapel, we get a copper, get a second via here. Probably gonna do another via rabble stuff, you know. Sort of really liking the way our deck looks right now. Rabble mostly just draw at this point. Actually, that's pretty helpful for the most part. So, now here I want to notice just a little, like, kind of mistake I made. Well, I don't actually know if this is actually a mistake. Take that back. So we have 11 in hand, right? So that's kind of perfect, right? We want to hit, populate, so that's very good. Now the only question is, I was a little bit nervous, like, should I buy Via first, you know? And then use Way of the Mole on Dismantle to get to whatever's at the bottom of that deck, you know, all those coppers. Well, actually, at the time, I didn't know what was at the bottom of my deck. I thought I trashed all my coppers at this point. I hadn't. I basically haven't trashed my coppers right now. But I'm about to find out anyways. And yeah. I got some coppers from using Dismantle. So I'm thinking about what I want here. But I definitely don't want another gold. I think for right now, like what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use Populate. And the reason is I just would rather be safe than sorry. I built my deck to hit Populate, and now that we have hit Populate, we're definitely gonna want to use it right now. Also just a little. So yeah, kind of thinking about this one. Not really sure what to do, but I think eventually I will end up hitting Populate. Just would rather be safe than sorry, you know. With the Via, I don't know if things are gonna work out, you know. If Via and the Way of the Mole will work out. And this way, like, I'll hit Populate and I'll get what I wanted to get off this turn, you know. And luckily, there's something pretty interesting here. You could Via, since I gained a Via, I essentially was able to get an extra Via anyways. So that was pretty cool, actually. So yeah, I'm going to get Legionary attacked. It's as certain as anything, you know you're getting Legionary attacked. Which in this case helps us a lot because drawing that Via is very nice, you know. It means we can play our Rabble without really fear of repercussion, you know. We get to keep Altar in hand, which is nice. Could be used for Way of the Mole, and could really just be used for a lot of different stuff here. So my opponent has 8 right now. So he could buy a province, but that seems like a pretty bad idea. Um, he might consider getting another rabble, you know? Rabble could be good. Buys a Via. Not entirely surprising here. Via rabble makes sense. You want good deck control, if anything. Here I have a pretty interesting decision to make. I could trash this silver with altar to get something I want. I could also replace a gold for a province if I wanted to. Could also wave the mole to continue my hand. Really, it's a pretty interesting decision we have here. Either way, we won't. We won't be able to do a ton here, but there's some stuff we can do. We can replace this silver into Via, which I think is the best option. I'm not sure if it's the one I use or see. I don't know if at this point in the game I realized how important Vias were going to be in this deck. But I could also replace this altar. Another option I have is I could replace this altar or could place altar for a province. Also considering I probably won't ever use altar that much. Really just taking time to think about this. Really the two best lines here are I think I can mull one of the action cards. I could replace into province, or replace alter the province, or I could do a lot. I really don't agree with the move I just made there. I would have realistically, if I could go back, I would for sure. Why did I discard Chapel? That was not a good move. Could have got a Via here. I think I will get Via though. Just use Catapult. Just because I don't really have a better option. Don't want to continue this turn. And I want all these back in the shuffle. For sure. Now, this turn was not played the best. I should have been looking replace, alter. Like, I think if I started replace, alter, that would have been amazing, you know. Replace, alter, get some Vias. That would have been awesome. If I had been thinking, could have really done a lot more on this turn than I did. Really could have got more of the Vias, and that would have just been really good for my deck. So I would say this is not the best play from my end, personally. But that being said, we hit Populate, so it's like we can't be doing. We're not doing the worst we could be doing. So opponent's gonna pile out Vias like he should do. Really should have been looking more for Via pile out, considering that most of my stuff was drawn off Way of the Mole. But you learn. So now we have a even Via split 5-5. Well, one Via is going to get used as a mole, unfortunately. I think if I want to rabble again, I do at this moment. Here I'm thinking if I want to rabble again, I probably will. So now you kind of have a choice to make here. We have enough for... This turn was good enough to get a second populate, you know? And we have more than enough here to get that. So... we realistically have a couple options. We Legionary attack or we replace gold here. And we choose their Legionary attack, which I think is the final option here. I like it, you know? We saving those golds for Legionary attacks and replace. I think that's good. We get a populate. Second populate. Fortunately, this one does not include Vias. Unfortunately. But it still, I think, would be good. Still gonna allow us to still gonna allow us to do some cool stuff. Though, in second thought, I don't know if a second populate was entirely necessary. I think that our deck was good enough as it... Our deck kind of was good enough as it is, to be honest. I don't think you need additional support. I think it just needed payload. That being said, getting a populate isn't always just bad, or it's not necessarily bad here because I think we put too many actions in our deck. But you know, there's always options to replace alter and stuff, and you know, you can always you can threaten a pile out now when... Though it's debatable if you want to do that in the first place. So my opponent gets a double province, which, I mean, I guess it makes sense for what he has in this hand. There's only a little bit of... There's kind of one problem with that. The only really problem with that is that, if I hit rabble... If I do hit rabble, then, then you're gonna get a bunch of stuff top decked, which I do right now. Right now our deck's going pretty dang well, I would say. Yeah, so playing Legionary makes a lot of sense. Putting him in that attack is... Legionary can be a pretty brutal attack. Force him to resources on mole stuff. Especially after a couple of rabbles, you'll probably draw a green card, which is not what you want to draw with Legionary. So that can be a pretty brutal combo. So yeah, here I decided to use the replace to get a... to get rid of the altar because I don't need it. Um, and give him an extra stop card with the curse. Um, I'm actually lucky I didn't. Lucky in game I saw that you could trash altar. I wasn't thinking about that. I was just thinking trash gold. But in game I saw that you could trash altar for a province, which is pretty good. Um, so yeah. So right now, I'd say that I like my deck a little bit more, even with a lot of the stuff going on. Yeah, it's pretty nice to have Veal and Rabble in hand. And it's kind of the thing is you have to mull most of your stuff. Well, luckily that attack was enough to stop him from double provincing this turn, which is pretty huge. It's a pretty huge deal for us. Game's getting really close. Now he gets his own replace. Probably going to try to get his own provinces with replace. And that makes sense. And luckily we get some via Rabble stuff going eventually. That's not bad. Both of those are top decked, which is very good for us. I guess he has to choose the order of which one, if he wants Curse or Province on top. Really does not matter unless he has a Junk Dealer in hand, which I don't believe he does. Yeah, no. Now the best thing to do here is just really discard everything. Just get a fresh shuffle. Get a fresh shuffle. Get your province. Well, province is a little scary. There's also that province is a little scary here. I'm also afraid that he can double prov, which is a realistic possibility here. So I'm actually glad I did not go for that. Choosing kind of just rare to wait things out. So yeah, we're in a pretty close game. So Micha definitely has the chance to do pretty well this turn. Unless using all these cards as rad is pretty huge. And that's kind of the power of those rabble attacks personally. They were pretty dang effective. And using Legionary as rabble means that he doesn't have enough payload. He doesn't have enough payload here to double province, which is very good for us. Because if he double province here, we would have definitely lost the game. So he has 6 here. He can get it. Can't get a gold. Chooses to get a gold. Over duchy. And yeah, we use junk dealer right here. I think it's pretty clear you want to use it on copper. Okay. Gonna keep going here. Well, we have a couple options. If we use this... Truly not the greatest of shuffles. But at least one thing I'll say is with Way of the Mullet matters a little less. Because you can at least just... If you have a terrible hand, you can just... If you have a terrible hand, you can just keep going through it. Yeah, like we get a pretty dang good hand from us. So for sure we're going to want to play as Legionary. And I think I was a little unsure when I was first playing it. But right now we're definitely going to want to play Legionary just because it really messes him up, you know, messes our opponent up. And just kind of makes it where he can't... just makes it where having a smaller hand size is going to have to use more moles. Using more moles means you won't be able to double province, so it's... I'm really thinking it over here. If like, do I just want to stop here? The answer is yes, but I'm just taking a while to think it out. Yeah, so I mean, getting the province estate there, just really good. Now of course you don't like to see that get top decked. And it's also good that all these vehicles are getting used as like moles here. So here I also have an interesting decision. I could try to mole here. If the problem with moling is I have what you might call it on. I have a province and a curse on top. So right now I have really two options. I can mole and risk you know, having a dud turn, but potentially having a really good turn, or I can kind of just stop here, do Legionary Silver, and get a duchy. Really what's kind of scary here is like if we don't do that, right? There's always the chance that if we don't do that, he really only needs... You need 10 plus and 2 buys to win, which isn't going to be super impossible for his deck to get, especially since we're not going to be really attacking him this turn. So I go for the safe option and go for a duchy. Now he does use he does use a mole, which is pretty lucky on our end. Meaning that he's going to have to use more moles to draw, meaning that his hand's not going to be very good. So definitely a good thing for us. Also, if we had also just important, if we had mold last turn, oh crap. That was not a good turn for him. And I'm also thinking what to do here. I could have also trashed. Actually, I mean, in retrospect, I think I should have trashed. But it doesn't matter. But, I'm gonna use Junk Dealer here so I can use it to gain money. I can use it to gain money here. And really losing that chapel's not gonna hurt anyone. I need to tell past self that you definitely want to mull this. Though I think I'm a little nervous at this point. If I drew gold, I could win, but you know, it'd probably be safer to use mull here. No, find the win. No, I'm just kidding. Well, I can mill this province. And luckily empty out the provinces, give him a curse, and end with the points lead, which was very good, you know. Very close smash that last game. I really think getting the populates help because I could mull non-essential cards for draw, and on top of that, just I think it just ended up being good. Having a lot of those legionaries and replaces just ended up being great. So yeah, this was kind of a tough set, you know. I think it was mostly my undoing here. I don't think I was playing really at my best. Really, the last two games. In the last game, I made some mistakes, but I think more or less I had a plan of what I wanted to do, so that worked out well. I think going into the next match, we just want to make sure that we take time to observe everything on the board, and we don't want to get rushed if we can. And we just need to not be afraid, you know. We will make mistakes, and I'll probably have them recorded on video, but hey, and that's kind of the point. So we can keep kind of learn from our mistakes and keep going. Anyways, I will see you in the championship match when I upload it. See you guys.